What up guys, my name is Stanley Steen from Team Deberoo and today we are going to talk about Colin Dijs' 3-day rule. What does it mean? How does it work? I'll explain it to you. Alright, so we are going to talk about Colin Dijs' 3-day rule and specifically on push ads. But before we dive in, I want to tell you that you can still join the Deberoo Suite Beta for free. That's right, we are producing a brand new platform with all the software and all the tools that you as affiliate marketer might need. So make sure to sign up as you can still join the beta for free. The link is down below in the description. Follow the link, sign up, and you'll get your free access into the Deberoo Suite. Now let's dive in. So we are going to talk today about the 3-day rule of Colin Dijs. So first of all, what does it mean? How does it work? So the 3-day rule gives you 3 days to initially test your campaign and test the offer that you are going to promote. So 3 days long, we are gonna basically spend some money to see whether the offer and whether the flow that you've set up in your campaign is working or not. Why do we do that specifically in 3 days and how does it work? I'll explain to you, but basically this is the most fastest and the most efficient way to test. But I'll get back to that a little later. So 3 days to test, 3 times CPA per day. Meaning that on the first day, you are going to spend 3 times CPA on one placement. So for example, if your CPA is $1, that means you spend $3 per placement to test for 3 days long, right? And after that, you would optimize. And we'll get back to that a little later. But first, I want to dive a little deeper on those 3 days themselves instead of the optimizing later. So why do we use the 3-day rule? First of all, like I said, it's the fastest way to test. Because after those 3 days, you know whether a campaign or a placement is going to be successful or not. And based on that information, you can decide whether you want to continue and optimize on it, or whether you want to stop the campaign, take your losses, and try something else. So 3 days is a very fast way to test. It's also the most efficient way to test, since you have a very strong set rule that you are going to apply for this campaign before investing more money. So you want to initially feel the water, test the water, see what it's like, see if your audience is actually liking your offer and your campaign. So therefore it's a very efficient way to test. It's also the most accurate way to test because you have 3 different days. You could say, well, why not spend all that money on your placements in 1 day? You could, but then you have data on 1 day. And if you are a little unlucky, you maybe even have only data for 10 hours since the budget went through, right? So with the 3-day rule, you separate it out of 3 days. And based on those 3 days, you have a clear understanding whether it's working or not. So, and thus it's the best way to test. It's the fastest way to test, not too fast, but still one of the fastest way to test. It's the most efficient way to test, and it's the most accurate way to test by far. So what happens after the 3 days? So per placement, you've spent 3 times CPA per day for three days, meaning that you've spent 9 times CPA per placement over those 3 days. Right? So coming back on the example of $1, if your CPA is $1, that means you spend 3 times CPA per day, per widget. So $3 per widget over 3 days. 3 times 3 is 9, meaning you've spent 9 times CPA per widget. So in this example, $9 overall per widget. So if you have less than 9 conversions, it means that you're not profitable, right? If we have 8 conversions of $1, that brings us a revenue of $8, but we've spent 9. Therefore, that widget is not profitable. Now, if you have exactly 9 conversions, then you're exactly on the break-even point. You've spent $9, but you also earned $9. No loss, no profit. You're exactly on the break-even point. In this case, there is potential because you didn't make a loss. You just have to basically do the test all over again. Test some more. See if you can make some slight changes that would make that 9 into a 10. That would make break even into profit. So you're very close. You might want to give up if the rest of your widgets are below or on break even as well. But there might be potential if you have 9 conversions since you're on break even. And then if you have more than 9 conversion, obviously you are making profit. For example, if you have 10 conversions with a CPA of $1, you have a revenue of $10 and you've spent $9, so you make $1 profit. And that's the way to go. So after these 3 days, you would basically shut off all the placements with less than 9 conversions. And then it depends whether it's the majority or not. If you notice that most of your placements have less than 9 conversions, then it might be time to shut off the campaign, take your loss and look for something new. If the majority is in profit, then you would just shut off the unprofitable widgets, placements. The break-even placements you can leave in there and test some more and see if you can make some changes to get them profitable. And the profitable placements you would obviously keep on and start optimizing and scaling on them. That way you have 3 days to initially test every single placement. You have valid data of your complete campaign. You know whether the offer is any good or not. You know whether it's potential in the campaign or not. And with all that information, you can start making accurate decisions. So not opinion-based decision or emotion-based decisions. Accurate, data-driven decisions. That's what we want to make in the affiliate marketing. And that is what's going to make you successful. Very important. Data-driven decisions. Keep that in your mind. So with these 3 days, with the Colin Dijs 3-day testing system, you give yourself 3 days to gather all the data that you need to tell whether it's going to be a success or not. And whether that success is going to be big or not, that depends on all these stages coming afterwards. Right? That depends on your optimizing. That depends on your scaling. That depends on everything else in the campaign. But the testing period, you just want to get accurate data, enough data, at the least amount of costs to see whether there's potential or not. And when there is potential, it's all a game of using that potential, right? Grabbing that potential. If you have a chance to win it, you still have to put in the effort to actually do it, right? Everybody who starts off at a race has the chance to win. But who puts in the work and actually wins? That's all the stages after. So basically, the 3-day rule is your qualifiers. It's your qualifiers. It's basically 3 days where you qualify a campaign and qualify an offer. Is this going to be good enough? Is this going to be good enough for me? Am I going to make a profit? Right? So that's the 3-day rule. Make sure to check out the Deberoo suite. The link is below. So we are in a beta test at the moment, which means you can join for free and you can use the awesome software and tools inside the Deberoo suite for free at this moment. So make sure to check that out. I will see you next time. Peace out.